Now, the deep state players, they're starting to realize they are no longer in control. Their event that they had planned, that they're pushing, is not working out the way they thought it was going to work. And you can see from some of the messages that we've been reading from Twitter and other places, they are starting to panic, and we're getting more and more messages showing a deep panic right now because they realize the Patriots now are in control. And Trump and the Patriots, they are now sending messages, letting us know that the storm is upon us, that we are now fighting the enemy. And Trump, he's not going to interrupt this. As Q has always said, why interfere with an enemy while they're in the process of destroying themselves? There's no reason to. All the mainstream media characters, the deep state players, the Hollywood actors and actresses, corrupt politicians, they're all following the script. Allow them to do what they do best. Do not interfere. While they're doing that, in the background, we have operations that are now in full motion. It looks like the clock is activated. Red Castle, Green Castle, they are ready. And I don't believe this just has to do with the wall, because we are seeing things happen at the same exact time as when Q told us about Red Castle, Green Castle. We'll be getting into that in just a moment. But first, let's talk about Hunter Biden here, because we know the Bidens are corrupt. We understand that they dealt with Ukraine, with China, and many other countries. And it comes out that Hunter Biden, he has cost taxpayers nearly $200,000 as he toured the globe during his father's time in office. Now, this is coming out of usaspending.gov. This is a database that collects and reports unclassified government expenditures. It's probably a lot more than this. Biden's trips cost taxpayers $193,696 for Secret Service protection. The amount is nearly 4 times the recorded security bill of the 4 adult Trump children combined. And Biden, he visited more than 10 countries during his father's term: China, Qatar, South Africa, and a lot more. And throughout his travels, Biden received multiple bills, which involved taxpayer payments to miscellaneous foreign contractor or a miscellaneous foreign awardee. And most obvious throughout the records in the database was Biden's cost of the Secret Service protection. Once again, all of this is going to be exposed in the end. It's going to show, as Trump said, how corrupt the Obama-Biden administration was. Now, very interestingly, we know the entire Mueller case against Trump was fake, phony, and false. There was really nothing there. And now all those cases that Mueller was putting out there in the mainstream media, saying, oh, we got these Russians, oh, another person lied, they're all falling apart. The latest one to fall apart was the Russian bot farm. Now, this made huge headlines. Finally, we got them. It was the Russians who did it. They had a bot farm, and they went ahead and they pressed charges. They never thought the Russian company was going to come here to the U.S., but they did, and they challenged it. And now the Department of Justice are dropping the charges against them. Technofog tweeted out the following: wow. The Department of Justice moves to dismiss the charges against the Russian company Concord, who conducted the alleged information warfare against the U.S. The troll case will be dismissed with prejudice. How embarrassing for Team Mueller. You can read the full motion, and he gives a link. This case has been quite entertaining. Concord attorney Eric Dublier has, at time, run circles around special counsel and Department of Justice lawyers, starting with his claim that Department of Justice indicted the proverbial ham sandwich because it's quarantine time. Here are Dublier's greatest hits in the Concord case, in which Dublier calls special counsel Jeannie Rhee a liar. Concord lawyer Dublier returns to the Concord summons to special counsel Rhee because it doesn't comply with the federal rules. Dublier: I find it disturbing that you are already behaving in a manner that is inconsistent with the practices of the Department of Justice. Sidebar: the Concord case was exceedingly dangerous because the Department of Justice twisted the law to fit these defendants. The alleged illegal activities, Concord interfered with the FEC's ability to determine whether statutes were violated. This whole thing completely fell apart. They never expected for the attorney, the company, to come to America and defend themselves. They thought they were just going to put this out into the mainstream media. They were going to say, we got the Russians and we can't try them because they're in Russia. But they decided to come here to the U.S. to show that they had nothing to do with this. And what did the Department of Justice under Mueller have? Nothing. They couldn't get them at all. Just like with the Flynn case. That whole case is now falling apart. Next, it will be Stone, then Manafort. It's all falling apart for them. Now, very interestingly, John Huber tweeted out the following. No amount of banks, shell companies, burner phones, or the transfer of millions of dollars to foreign countries will stop us from tracking down money stolen from the government and holding criminals responsible for their wrongdoings, which means everything has been active. They've been tracking all this, and nothing is going to stop this. Where have we heard that before? Now, what's very interesting is that John Durham, he is charging a man with threatening to assault and murder Adam Schiff. Now, he went after Robert M. Phelps, 62, because he wrote emails to Schiff, and he threatened him. And he wrote things like, I want to kill you with my bare hands and smash your face in. In addition, in response to the preferred days of the week for the meeting request, Phelps wrote, measure your coffin day. Now, we know that Trump and many others have received threats. Many people on Twitter and other places have been threatening these individuals. And I believe what they're doing here, it has to do with optics. Showing, listen, we can go after these people. We have someone who's threatening Adam Schiff, and we're going to press charges. Those people who are threatening others, we're also going to press charges against them. And I believe Durham right now is setting up the optics to make a case. And they can't argue with it because look what he just did. He went ahead and he's pressing charges against this individual that threatened Schiff. Now, does this mean that Schiff is off the hook? No, absolutely not. His day is coming. This is for optics. Just like when Trump was out there pointing out, well, let me see, you're going after Flynn for lying, you're going after Stone for lying, but we had Brennan, we had Comey, we had McCabe, they all lied. This is about optics. They're setting all of this up. Now, we know that we have this major event happening right now with the coronavirus, and it seems that there are certain individuals that are showing panic. Now, Trump tweeted this out. He said, Cuomo wants all states to be treated the same, but all states aren't the same. Some are being hit harder by the Chinese virus. Some are being hit practically not at all. New York is a very big hotspot. West Virginia has thus far 0 cases. Andrew, keep politics out of it. Now, the reason why he's saying this is because certain states have bigger problems than other states. He also wants states to go ahead and get the equipment and do everything on their own because they have a faster time and they have point of sale and they're able to get this equipment. And if they can't get it, Trump will step in. But very interestingly, we have David Rothschild. He responded to Trump's tweet and said, President Trump seems to be saying he wants to murder all the people in New York as some partisan gotcha against New York's Democratic government. As a person in New York, I'm really against this plan from our president. Why is he against this? Because it's not going the way he wanted. What Trump is doing right now, he's breaking it down and removing the federal government out of this and allowing the states to go ahead and do what they do. This is what the founding fathers originally planned on. It was changed where the federal government was calling all the shots. The power is going back to the states now. And who doesn't like that? Because remember, central bankers, they like everything centralized. They like control. But we also see Hillary Clinton. She is realizing that this entire fear, panic, push, this whole thing, it is not working out the way they thought. This is what she tweeted out. I agree with Chelsea. We all have a real responsibility to protect each other right now. To protect each other. Very interesting set of words she is using. They're starting to realize that something big is about to happen. And we've seen this with Comey. We've seen this with other individuals. And you can see that they are starting to panic. We've seen it with Obama, where he was out there saying we have to look out for each other, while Trump's message was we're all in this together. So Obama's saying we have to look out for each other. Clinton is saying that we have to protect each other. They're talking about the deep state group of players, how everything is now turning right now, and they're feeling a sense of panic. And we know that a lot of the deep state players, they have a script that they must follow. And it seems that each and every single one of them is doing their job, where they're trying to push fear, panic. And who do they use to do this? Well, they use corrupt politicians, they use Hollywood actors, actresses, they use the mainstream media. They're all on board, and they're trying to push as much fear and panic as possible. Now, I do believe that this coronavirus, the White Hats neutralized it. Yes, it is still a problem, but it doesn't have the same effect that it would have had if they didn't neutralize it. And I believe all these individuals, they're just going along and following the script. I mean, we have certain Hollywood actors and actresses, they're saying that they have the coronavirus. We have Katie Hill. She's claiming that she's almost certainly has the coronavirus. She's letting everyone know that Trump is not doing enough. This is all part of the script. We also have Austrian Archduke Karl von Habsburg. He has become the first royal in the world to be diagnosed with coronavirus. And if you can see what's happening here. And we've talked about the percentages of the Hollywood actors and royal. It's a very, very small percentage of these individuals, and they're the ones who are getting it. It doesn't make sense. Now, we know from Q's post that this is called March Madness. And very interestingly, the U.S. Marshals, they put out a tweet and says, Walker County Sheriff's Office recently kicked off an effort dubbed Operation March Madness that has resulted in 122 arrests for the month so far, including the capture of U.S. Marshals fugitive Joshua Wayne Burnett. And it's very interesting that they have an operation called March Madness, and Q mentioned that also. Now, yesterday we read a thread from Dr. Russell McGregor, and Dr. Russell McGregor gave us a quarantine map of different places where he thought there were going to be quarantine cities. Well, we're starting to see that actually happen right now. San Francisco, they have skipped the interim mitigation efforts and has announced a forced quarantine of all residents inside their homes 24 hours a day for the next 3 weeks. And I do believe we might see this spread to other cities where they make the call that there is a quarantine. And remember, we have the indictment map, which pretty much matches up to the map that Dr. Russell McGregor gave us, where he thinks these quarantine zones are going to be. And it seems that this one is matching up pretty darn good. Now, very interestingly, today is March 17th, and happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone that is celebrating St. Patrick's Day. And I want to go back to post 3097. Now, this is on March 17th, 2019, and it says, what day is today? It's the 17th. How much more obvious can we make it? Q is talking about post 3098, where there was a retweet, which Donald Trump retweeted, a tweet from VB Nationalists. And the logo on here was Q, the letter Q, wearing a MAGA hat. And down below it says, look what POTUS retweeted, and what's in the upper left-hand corner? And Q responded, retweet many for plausible deniability. March 17th. Message 2, letting everyone ask the question, why did you retweet a tweet with a Q image on it? Now, we know that during this whole coronavirus event, there's a separate operation going on, and we are getting confirmation that there is an operation going on. And yesterday, Praying Medic, he tweeted out one of the posts, and it showed that it was Saudi Arabia first, where they've been making arrests. Here in the United States, we've seen arrests of the cartel and MS-13 gangs. I do believe there's going to be more. Haven't had or heard of anything happen as of yet, because I don't think it's exactly that time. And I went back to March 17, 2018. And this is very interesting because it aligns with everything that is happening right now, and I believe this is when Q says future proves past, it's just amazing how this is all coming true now. Now, this is post 954, March 17, 2018. It says next week, boom, boom, boom. Then we have post 955. Gives us everything to 954, but down below it says United States Marine Corps activated. US 3, which means US Marine Corps activated in 3 US cities. Now, this is saying next week. We'll have to wait to see if this happens next week. But the other thing that I find very interesting is that during the press conference with Trump and the other individuals around him like Pence and Fauci and others, they were talking to the press, and Trump said something. He said many interesting things, but this is one of them. He said his administration was starting the process of having the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers assist New York in its response to the coronavirus pandemic. And if we go back to post 963, this is going to be March 23rd, 2018. This is 2 years ago. It says, clock activated. Red Castle, Green Castle, the Army Corps of Engineers. Stage 5x5, brackets Y. Now, I know Red Castle, Green Castle, back then we were talking about the wall. But I think this also has another meaning because it's happening at the same exact time as this event. So let me continue with the other things that he said during his presser. He said it wasn't their fault that this thing was all of a sudden upon us. Where have we heard that before? Where all of a sudden this was upon us. The storm is upon us. That's one thing. He also said we need to take down, get rid of this enemy. It's an invisible enemy, not a virus. Why didn't he say that we need to get rid of this virus? Why did he say enemy? Then he tweeted out, the world is at war with a hidden enemy. We will win. Then Sun Q-Tsu tweeted out and picked up what he said and went back to post 1432. This is what Sun Q-Tsu tweeted out. Wow, cross-reference at POTUS tweet hidden enemy with Q1432. 1432 equals 2:32 p.m. timestamp of tweet. Q post quotes Ephesians 6:10-18. We are fighting against the hidden enemy, not flesh and blood. Now, this is post 1432. And Sun Q-Tsu circled the part, and it says, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you have done everything to stand firm then, with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. So I do believe that what Trump is saying and what Q is saying is that this is a fight against the deep state players, an invisible enemy that no one really sees. And what's very interesting is I'm going back to when Trump said that this is what's upon us, that all of a sudden it was upon us. If you go back to post 55, it says, look to Twitter. Exactly this. My fellow Americans, the storm is upon us. God bless. So when you really look at what's going on here, the Patriots, they are using this event to go after the deep state players, the invisible enemy. And the posts from 2 years ago, they're matching up pretty darn exact to what is happening right now. And if you really look at it, we know that Q has been telling us that we need to bring the country together. No longer can we be divided. And I believe that what is happening right now, this virus, this event, which is not Republican, which is not Democrat, which is not anything else, it is something that is outside of the division of people. This is bringing people together. So how do you bring a country together? you use something like this. This is the first stage. Also, if you noticed, Trump and the Patriots, by using this event, they have taken the entire Russian narrative completely out of the picture. Where is everyone looking right now? China. Q has always told us this. Trump has always told us this. China is our true enemy. Now, is it the people of China? No. It's the deep state players in China. It's the central bank establishment in China. Everyone now, including Congress, Democrats, Republican, they're all looking at this and saying, yeah, China. And China just made a threat where they said, listen, don't push us because we might not give you the medical supplies that you need. Now everyone is looking at China saying, whoa, wait a minute. Because what is happening here? We have this outside virus that is affecting every single person. We're all coming together to fight this virus, and everyone's eyes are no longer on Russia. They are on China. And how do you show the people that you're fighting for them? Back in 2008, 2009, where did all the TARP money go? Did it go to the people? Did it go to the people that were suffering? Who was in charge back then? Where did the money go? This time, the money's going to the people. Trump is making sure, through the mainstream media, that everyone knows that he wants to send every single person money. Why is he doing this? One, he needs to protect the people. We're going through a great economic transition right now. He's also using it to show that he's not with the banks. He's not with the central bankers. He's using all their weapons against them. What is the mainstream media going to say? This is a terrible thing? Are the people going to say, I don't want your money? Of course not. He even made it a point saying, listen, the wealthy shouldn't receive it. He's even taken that away. Why? He needs to bring the people together. This is the first part. He needs to set it up. He's bringing people onto his side. Yes, I know there are people out there that don't want to go. There are still people following the script, but many of the people are saying, not bad. Actually, look at Governor Newsom. Thanked Trump. Look at Governor Cuomo. Thanked Trump. How do you get the mainstream media on your side throughout all of this? You tell them, listen, we're all fighting the same thing. We need to work together to beat this. Don't put out any more fake news. Now, will the mainstream media listen? We don't know. But Trump can use this either way. Once the operation is complete, there needs to be a way to stop all of this, to remove the fear, to make everyone feel okay, like they're safe. Now remember, Trump has set up a European travel ban up to April 10th, which is Good Friday. It's also his initials. 15 days of quarantining yourself. And I do believe there's going to be an operation within this time period. Once this is all said and done, we know the mainstream media, the deep state, they're going to continually push this and push this. How do you stop it? Remember, Trump has told us that this is going to end. The heat, the hot spring and summer is going to bring this to an end. And I do believe that Xi Jinping and other countries are definitely working with the patriots on this. Trump retweeted something very interesting. He retweeted a tweet from AFP news agency, and it said, update, the first human trial to evaluate a candidate vaccine against the new coronavirus has begun in Seattle. U.S. health officials said, raising hopes in the global fight against the disease. He's letting everyone know that there's going to be a cure, that there's going to be a vaccine. Now, does this mean that everyone's going to get vaccinated? No, just like everyone doesn't have to be tested. Just knowing that there's a vaccine, just knowing that there's a cure, you're no longer afraid. Are you afraid of any of the diseases that are out there today? Even if you weren't vaccinated? No, you're not, because you know there's a cure. This is how he's going to remove. Now, remember, there are many other cures that are out there, and actually, there is a study which they were looking at chloroquine, which fights off COVID-19, and they had experiments already that it got rid of it in 6 days. And this was Laura Ingraham talking to Dr. Gregory Regano, talking about their study where they looked at COVID-19. They took hydroxychloroquine, and they found that they were rid of the disease in 6 days. So what does this mean? I believe this information is coming out now to also break down the pharmaceutical monopoly on curing certain diseases. Remember, Q has told us that they're going to bring cures to light. And I believe this is going to be a springboard to show that there are other things that can be used to cure diseases. And I think this is just the beginning. And Trump, he's going to use all of this to shut the whole operation down, to make people feel safe once the Patriots operation is over. And what's very interesting is that Trump, he is looking forward to a big celebration when the fight against coronavirus ends. And he's looking at July to have a big celebration to show everyone that we're free of this invisible enemy. And what's very interesting is we're starting to see a lot of things change. People are noticing that the Google algorithm is now changing, allowing people to see all the things that have been censored. Not everything, but it seems that the Patriots are slowly reversing everything, preparing the people to see censored information, to allow them to see certain information. Why would this need to be done? Think about the arrests. Think about the trials. Think about the videos, the pictures, and a lot of other information. This needs to be out there. The people need to see it. And I do believe this is why we see everything being reversed right now. Because Trump and the Patriots, they planned this from the very beginning. They're setting it all up for that specific time period where certain individuals are arrested, put on trial, and without the social media algorithms blocking everything, people will be able to see